English this half term, the children will be learning to write their own play scripts. The reason for this is for the children to explore a range of writing genres, understanding the purpose of each and learning about the features that they include. Our key text is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. This book links to our topic, which is potions, and the children's play scripts will be inspired by the characters that Alice meets along the way. We will be focusing on using powerful adverbs during our grammar sessions, which will be included in the written stage directions to give the characters more detailed information on how to deliver their lines. For example, rather than saying, "Slowly, Alice picked up the bottle," they might use an adverb like apprehensively, which is a more powerful adverb and gives the character more of a clue on how to deliver the action. During World Book Week, which also falls on the same week as Shakespeare Week, we will be focusing on playwright William Shakespeare. Again, linking to our topic, our key text will be Romeo and Juliet. The children will explore the text in depth across the week and will write creative responses such as letters from the perspectives of different characters. We have a really exciting trip coming up, which will also link to our text Romeo and Juliet, looking at William Shakespeare, and the children will get to learn more about the playwright and the play itself. This half term, our topic is potions. In science, the children will be learning about states of matter. They will be learning how they can change the states by altering the temperature. We are hoping to engage the children in some really fun experiments relating to this and also incorporating our topic. Our geography work will link nicely with our design and technology lessons, as the children will be learning about how climate affects where food comes from and how we can manipulate growing conditions by using things such as greenhouses. The children will design and create their own greenhouses and will make inquiries over time to see if they are effective. Our PE focus this half term will be athletics. The children will look to improve their own athletic abilities in running and throwing, as well as other events. In RE, our big question is, what does it mean to be a Hindu in Britain today? This will build on the children's prior learning of Hinduism. Finally, during music, the topic that the children will be learning about is contrasts in music, focusing on the various elements of music such as pitch, tempo and dynamics. This promises to be another impactful half term, despite its length, and we look forward to seeing the children.
This half term in Year 4, we are looking at fractions and decimals. We've already looked a bit at fractions in Year 3, so in Year 4 now we are looking at mixed number fractions. A mixed number fraction is just a mix of a whole number and a fraction to make a new number. In our example, we have 1 and 2/3. And in our picture, we have 1 and 2/3. Our first step to understanding is seeing that this number is not 5 and it is not 5/6. These are two separate amounts. So the first amount that we have here is 3 lots of 3, 3/3, which make up one whole. And down here we only have 2 out of the 3 filled, so this would make 2/3. And all together we would then have this one whole answer and would have this 2/3 with it. So that we can add and take away these numbers, we are looking at partitioning these into different amounts. So we could partition it quite simply into 1 and 2/3, so that when it comes to adding and taking away, we have these two separate numbers to help us. We could also partition it further into 1, 1/3, and 1 more third. Or we could partition it completely into different amounts of thirds and different amounts of wholes if the number changes. We can also look at how many fractions we can get out of different numbers. So I know here I have 1 whole. 1 whole is the same as 2 halves, because 2 halves make a whole. It's also the same as 3/3, and it's also the same as 4/4, and so on. That way, if I need to take away a fraction from my whole, if I were to take away 1/2 from my whole, I know that my whole is 2 halves anyway, so I could just take 1 away from the numerator and know that half of 1 is a half. When we're looking at this, we will then look into different numbers as fractions. So if I know that 1 whole is 4/4, I know that 3 wholes in quarters should be 4, 8, 12. 3 lots of 4. So my quarters would be 12 quarters. When we come to adding our fractions, we will start simply with just the fractions. And what we really want to get through to the children is that the numerator, the top number, is what we add. The denominator, the fractions at the bottom, the sixths, do not change. We are not adding the sixes together to make 12. The answer will still have to be in sixths, but we will be adding the numerators. Once the children get their heads around this concept, adding fractions can be quite simple. I know that 3 add 1 is 4, so it's quite simply 4 sixths. Again, if we want to use images for this, I can see I've got 3 sixths down here, because I've got 3 parts of my whole complete. And if I need to add 1 more part, it just turns into 4. The next step will be minusing or taking away or subtracting fractions. And again, we do not touch the denominator, we only change the numerator. So we know that if we're minusing ninths, it will have to end as a ninth still. And again, quite simply with the numbers that we've got, I know that 4 take away 3 is 1, so my answer is 1/9. And again, if I wanted to check, using an image to help me, I have got 9 sections of my whole here, and I've got 4 of them that I want to take 3 away from. So I will just take 1, 2, 3, and I've got 1 section left, which is 1/9. After we're able to add and take away our fractions, we will then start looking again into our mixed number fractions. Here I have 2 wholes and 2 quarters, and I need to take away 1 quarter. Again, I know that I do not touch the denominator. So if I'm taking away 1 quarter, I could just take off 1 section of the whole that is split into 4. I've still got my 2 wholes, because these 2 numbers are separate from this. And then I've got 1 section left. I have 1 quarter left. So my answer would be 2 and 1 quarter. After we finish with our fractions unit, we will then look at our decimal place unit. We have used place value charts like this many times when we are multiplying. We know that if we multiply this number by 10, it will just move over 1, and we will put a 0 in our ones column. We know that if we multiply it by 100, it will move down 2, and we will put our zeros as placeholders. However, we're going to now look at dividing by 10 and dividing by 100. When we teach them to divide by 10, we will just move the number down the opposite way. So we will go up for multiplications and down for division. Division. So I know that this 3 now will move into my tenths column. So my 3 will end up here. And again, as we do when we multiply, my 0 will go back into my ones column. And with our decimal place, I now have 0.3. 3 divided by 10 is 0.3. And if I wanted to divide it by 100, I already know it jumps 2. So my 3 would be down here. I would put 0 in my tenths, my decimal point, and a 0 in the ones. So divide by 100, it would be 0.03. After we can do this with 1-digit numbers, we will start to look at this with 2-digit numbers. The process is exactly the same. If I were to divide this by 10, my 2 numbers would both take a jump down. My 2 would end up in my ones unit, and my 4 would end up in the tenths column.